Hello everyone, True here, back with another video. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day. And before we hop into today's deck, please remember to like and subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to 100 subscribers, and thank you to everyone who has recently supported the channel. You guys are amazing. Please keep in mind, it is free to subscribe, and you can always unsubscribe as well. So please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. And while you're at it, please remember to drop a like on today's video. Really helps this video to get shared with other people. And with all of that being said, let's hop into today's video. So today's video is on ADPZ, which stands for Arceus and Dialga and Palkia and Zacian V. If you haven't heard or played against this deck before, the general idea of ADPZ is to use Altered Creation GX for just the metal and the water energy. You do 30 more damage, and you take an extra prize card whenever you KO your opponent's Pokemon. Now this is a very powerful effect. Basically, you can theoretically win the game in 3 turns. You can go second, hit Altered Creation turn 1, hit Ultimate Ray turn 2, and bossing up a Dedenne in the same turn, taking 3 prize cards, and then the next turn, turn 3, bossing up another Dedenne or Crobat or Eldegoss and taking another 3 prize cards. And of course, 3 plus 3 equals 6, which is the exact number of prize cards you need to take in order to win the game. So the general idea behind the deck is to win the game very quickly. And in order to make ADPZ a little bit more broken, as I would say, we utilize Persian-GX. The ability Catwalk is extremely powerful. Basically, whenever a Pokemon GX or EX was knocked out during our opponent's last turn, we can search our deck for any 2 cards and put them into our hand. So basically, Persian-GX is like a teammates, but as an ability, which is so strong. Basically, whenever our ADP is knocked out, we can use Persian-GX, search our deck for things like Metal Saucers, Energy Switches, Boss's Orders, just a lot of resources we need to win the game. So Persian-GX, definitely a very interesting inclusion, and certainly a very good one in my opinion. In addition to Persian-GX, we also play Oricorio-GX. Oricorio-GX being able to draw 3 cards whenever our ADP or Zacian gets knocked out is pretty good. So basically, we not only have access to any 2 cards we want, we also have an additional bonus draw 3, which is pretty nice to have in the late game rounds if we want to dig for boss, for game, or something along the lines of that. Just a quick note, this is Stefan Ivanhoff's list that he used to get top 8 at the Atlas Mini recently. He lost to Decigoons in his first match in top 8, which is a matchup you sort of expect to lose with this deck. You really don't have an answer to Obstagoon, and yeah, you just lose the game. Unless you can hit like a bunch of Mons off of Mawile and have multiple bosses in hand, you will most likely not be winning that matchup. So we play 2 Dedenne-GX, 1 Eldegoss V, 1 Crobat V, pretty standard ADPZ support mon lines. We play 4 Cherish Ball for maximum consistency. We definitely don't want to brick, so we want maximum access to Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia, and Dedenne-GX, as well as Oricorio-GX. So 4 Cherish Ball, definitely a very consistent way to play the deck. This also allows us to search out Persian-GX, which is really strong as well. So 4 Cherish Ball is definitely merited in this deck. We play 2 Energy Spinners to search out energies if we are going second, and just in general, pretty nice way to search out energies. We play only 2 Energy Switch. This deck ideally wants to go first to pull off the turn 2 Altered Creation, not the turn 1. This is a rather slow ADPZ build because we are slightly cutting down on consistency by playing the Persian-GX, but playing Persian-GX allows us to have a more powerful board state late game, so we give up consistency for a better late game chance, basically. We play 4 Metal Saucers, pretty basic, 4 Quick Balls, 3 Switch, and in addition to 2 Energy Spinners, we also play 2 Viridian. Again, I guess this deck is just really trying to max out on the consistency where we can. We max out consistency on finding energies. We max out on finding Pokemon. This really consistent deck. We have 4 bosses orders in order to win the game as fast as possible. Like I said, you ideally don't want to KO a VMAX, you just want to KO 2 Dedennes, 2 Crobats, a Dedenne and a Crobat, a Dedenne and an Eldegoss, or a Crobat and an Eldegoss basically. So 4 bosses orders, definitely very good. We play 2 Marnie, 4 Research, pretty standard, 2 Air Balloon, and 1 Vitality Band. Now I found that the Vitality Band is super good. This allows your Zacian V to one-hit KO Mew 3, which is just unbelievably good. If it wasn't for Vitality Band, you would most likely be losing to Mew 3 because you can't one-hit KO the Mewtwo's, and they just one-hit KO you with one of their GX attacks. So Vitality Band definitely very valid. We can also search out Vitality Band with Persian-GX, so Vitality Band has a ton of merit right now. We play 8 Metal Energies and 2 Water Energies. Pretty straightforward, and yeah, that's all I have to say for the deck, and let's hop into some games. Alright, so hopping into our first one here against Shikaplu. Good luck to him or her. We're going to call the coin flip here. We do win the coin flip, so we're going to be going first. Again, this deck is not hyper focused on getting that turn 1 altered creation, so we certainly don't mind going second, playing it a little bit slow and getting that turn 2 altered creation off. And oh man, look at what we're up against. Looks like we're up against Mill. Alright, definitely going to be a very interesting matchup. We want to utilize Eldegoss as much as possible. Being able to spam bosses orders is extremely sort of vital in this matchup, I would say. So we're going to grab out the ADB here, and now I'm definitely going to attach a Metal Energy and not the Water Energy. This being because our opponent 100%, or should I say 98%, plays Crushing Hammers. I'm 98% sure our opponent plays Crushing Hammers. That's basically what Control always plays, unless they're playing towards build of no hammers. So I'm going to commit the Metal Energy instead of the Water Energy. In this case, if they hammer off the Metal Energy, there's a chance we pull off the turn 2 altered creation still. However, if we attach the Water, the chances are heavily reduced if they hammer off the Water instead of the Metal. So that's the reasoning behind that. Let's go ahead and use Intrepid Sword. Hey, there's a switch. There is an Air Balloon. Pretty good cards to work with here. So hoping that our opponent doesn't pull off the Crushing Hammer on our ADP. That would sort of suck. But again, if they do so, it's not the end of the world. There's the Crushing Hammer heads. As expected, we played around it. We didn't attach the Water. Definitely correct on our end. There's the Quick Ball getting rid of the Misty's Favor. Alright, it looks like we're up against Omnipoke's build of Control. Omnipoke definitely loves playing the Misty Favor combo along with the Lapras. So yeah, pretty cool inclusion indeed. There's a boss's orders. Alright, I think I'm going to commit the Water Energy now, attach Air Balloon to the active Zacian. I honestly think I cannot Dedenne change this hand. I just really cannot. I'm gonna opt for the Marnie here. Looking for the turn 2 altered creation. Okay, not terrible. We can Cherish Ball, go for the Dedenne-GX. As much as I don't want to bench the Dedenne-GX, getting this turn 1 altered creation feels pretty important in my opinion. This turn 2 altered creation feels pretty important, so I'm gonna opt to go with the Dedenne changer. No need to bench the rest of this. Got rid of some cards there, and not a good hand. Think we can hold off on doing everything we can. Viridian Forest look too thin. No need to do so. I'm just gonna Intrepid Sword here, and hope that our opponent doesn't get another Hammerheads. Yeah, a little unfortunate there, but that's what you expect against Control. We have another Marnie to work with, which is definitely worth mentioning here. Marning your opponent early game, definitely what we want to do. They evolve the active Minccino into a Cinccino, and it looks like our opponent's drawing cards here. They get rid of a Zacian, and just the Intrepid Sword. Alright, our opponent still having a rather not the best start, I would say. Now we get the Altered Creation off, which is really good for us. We can hold off on doing the Marnie, hold off on doing a lot of things actually. We have, yeah, we're sitting in a we have a pretty good hand to work with. We have access to Marnie, a bunch of energies. Yeah, this is just looking pretty good. Something to note is that our opponent is not utilizing Viridian Forest, which tells us they probably have a pretty stacked hand if they're not thinning the deck. I don't think they thinned the deck. They quickballed the Zacian of a for the Minccino, so they did not utilize Viridian Forest, so either that's a misplay on their part or they have a pretty stacked hand, so we do need to keep that in mind. I think I'm fine using Viridian Forest, getting rid of this Persian here. Looking through the deck, we have 3 bosses orders in deck, which is definitely pretty nice for us, and I'm just gonna go with the alter creation here. No real reason to Dedenne or Marnie. Definitely want our opponent to build up a slightly bigger hand before we Marnie them again. Hopefully there's the first Drober from our opponent. There's the quick ball. Getting rid of a Giratina. Alright. So I'm not sure if Omnipoke's list played the Giratina, so might not be the exact same list. They might as well just go for the Lapras here. And start using that ability to get Misty's favor back in hand in the discard. No, they grab a Jirachi instead. Alright, that's fine with us. Ideally, if we drew really well, we would have been able to attack with Zacian next turn, boss up their Zacian, and KO this for 3 prize cards. But they get rid of Chip Ice Axe. That makes sense. Normally, with Intrepid Sword, our opponent can't really fully utilize Chip Ice Axe to its maximum potential. So our opponent's setting up, they have 2 Mincinos on board. There's the net on that Centino. Alright, that's fine with us. They could have just utilized Viridian Forest and retreated and saved the scoop up net. I'm not sure how I really feel about that play, but we don't know what's in our opponent's hand, so it might have been correct on their end. We'll probably never know the answer to that. So let's see what our opponent grabs off of this Stellar Wish. There's a reset stamp. Alright, I'm perfectly fine with that. I seriously don't mind our opponent stamping us. That would be a very weak stamp. Without a doubt, because we have access to Viridian Forest. There's the make do from our opponents, and this actually gives us a chance to get a boss if they decide to stamp us, boss up the Centino, and take away access to draw. I also don't mind just KOing the active Jirachi. There's the Intrepid Sword from our opponent, getting them more cards, and now is the time we are going to Marnie. Alright, so I think I like just committing the metal to the active, because we'll probably have access to Viridian Forest for a while, and if they hammer, what are the chances our opponent gets double hammer heads? I'm just gonna commit the water. Maybe it's a misplay on my part, maybe it's not. I'm not entirely sure. Let's use the Viridian, get rid of this Oricorio here, fail the Viridian Forest, attach Air Balloon to the Dedenne-GX, and I think I'm just gonna Marnie here. Disrupt their pretty big hand, and yes, I do want to play the Marnie, and hopefully we can get a way to get access to Eldegoss next turn, and hopefully Marnie them again. There is a boss's orders, there's a quick ball. These are good cards to have here, and we're just going to go with the ultimate ray, KO our opponent's active Jirachi here, attach both metal, attach 1 metal to the Zacian, and do we attach second? I'm going to attach the other one to the active ADP, this being because our opponent could play hammers and give us a little bit of trouble, so that's the reasoning behind that. Our opponent could play hammers again, and they could hammer off a water energy, and then we would need an additional energy attached to the active to be able to attack, so I feel pretty comfortable just putting the metal energy on the active. Again, if our opponent hits double hammer heads, we're in a little bit of a rough spot for sure, but we have access to boss next turn. There's the Lapras from our opponent, going to be able to put the Misty Favor back into their hand and use it as make do fodder. Now they are only at a 4-card hand, which is definitely very lovely for us. Definitely don't want our opponent to have access to a big hand to work with, so definitely pretty optimal for them to have that low hand card size. They stamp us to 4. Do they have the Surge double? Oh man, we just drawn to 2 more bosses orders. That's lovely. Alright, there's a Crushing Hammer from our opponent. Hits Tails. That's really good for us. There's the Misty's Favor from our opponent. Alright, that works. that can get them Zacian James Surge. So actually this turn we definitely want to Marnie our opponents to remove all of those supporters from our opponent's hand. They grab a lot of good supporters for them, and there's the Intrepid Sword. I think I'm just gonna Dedenne change here. Honestly, losing to boss sort of sucks, but I think I really just want to disrupt that hand. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go for the Dedenne here. Hope to draw into a way to access Eldegoss. Dedenne change here. Playing a little bit aggressive here, looking for a way. Yikes, we actually whiffed. Alright, that's really, really bad. Whiffing in a way to hit the Eldegoss, certainly not ideal at all for us, but hopefully we can work our way out of it. Now we ultimate ray here. We do have 2 boss left in deck, 3 quick balls, so pretty good chances to top deck out of this here, and then we can just attach this Metal Energy probably to this Zacian here. Alright, we have access to 2 switch in hand. There's a Zacian V from the prize cards, that's not ideal. There's a 3rd switch. Alright, that's pretty good to have. Let's see if our opponent can lock us this turn. That's the real question. Our opponent is down to 23 cards in deck. That's still a lot of cards they need to get down to deck out mode. They get rid of Misty's Favor. Okay, there is the Excadrill. Does our opponent have the Boss Galar Mine on our Dedenne? And a hand lock is the real question. They don't have a humongous hand size. That is something to note. So if our opponent cannot pull off the boss this turn, they will lose the game. So let's see what our opponent has access to. They actually, I think they're guaranteed access because they have Surge and Rosa, so they're able to guarantee the Boss Galar Mine. But the question is, do they have access to a reset stamp? That's the real concern. So I'm expecting a Rosa here from our opponent. Definitely wouldn't be surprising at all. Again, we still have access to all of our 3 switches. There's the Rosa from our opponent. As expected, we've thinned the deck out. Chances of us hitting a draw supporter, we still have 4 research in deck, unless we prize 1 or 2. At minimum, we still have 2 researches in deck. We still have access to Crobat, Eldegoss. We have a lot of outs to work with, so things are looking pretty good for us, to say the least. I'm not gonna lie, I like our chances. Our opponent definitely wants a reset stamp, a boss, and a Galar Mine this turn. That's 3 cards that they need. If they don't have those 3 combo pieces, the chances of them winning this game are really minimal. So let's see if our opponent can pull it off here. They're taking their time with the Rosa, looking through the deck, seeing what pieces they're going to grab. Our opponent's board state, pretty good. They grabbed the stamp. What else did they grab? Drillbur reset stamp, Metal Energy. It looks like they have access to the Luke Metal. Alright, that's fine with us. There's the reset stamp from our opponent. Do they have the Zacian James is the question. And please don't have the Zacian James. Please do not. Actually, we don't mind if they have the Zacian James because we would just win the game in that scenario. If our opponent Zacian James, that means they wouldn't be able to boss us this turn, which means that we would just be able to use Ultimate Ray. So our opponent needs double hammer heads if they want to be able to Zacian James this turn. And even if they do that, they still need Galar Mine in order to replace our Viridian Forest, because we can just Viridian whatever our top deck is, go for a Metal Energy and hard retreat. So there's a Cynthia and Caitlyn from our opponent. Looks like they do not have access to the Zacian James or boss this turn. How are they going to win the game? I guess they need to hit double hammers here. I guess that's what they're digging for, because them not having access to boss is really hard. And there's the concession from our opponent. They did not have the lock going for them. And yeah, that's gonna do it for game 1 against Control. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Alright, so hopping into our next game here against Dragon 2311471. That's a lot of numbers. We're going to call the coin flip here. We'll call heads again. We do lose the coin flip, so opponent's probably going to opt to go first. Yep, no reason really not to. Looks like we could be up against a mirror because they have the Dragon deck box, they have the metal sleeves. Very well could be the ADPZ mirror matchup. So let's see what we're up against. I'm expecting ADPZ. there is the Dedenne-GX start from our opponent. Definitely not ideal for them. There's the Zacian V. Alright, it's probably ADPZ. There's a Cherish Ball. Now we know it's ADPZ. So, definitely very, I don't know if we're favored or unfavored in this matchup. Our opponent's deck is probably more consistent, I would imagine. There's the water attachment from our opponent to the ADP. Ideally here, we want to pull off the turn 1 altered. That would be more than ideal. That's a yikes draw. Definitely don't want to get rid of 2 saucers. That's not really ideal. So I'm gonna quick ball away the Metal Energy. I'm gonna utilize one of them. Probably go for the Mawile here. Not really a reason to go for another Zacian. Plus, benching Mawile means we get to hopefully get a benched Pokemon from our opponent onto their bench. Let's see what they have here. No Pokemon, and they have a lot of nice cards to work with. So I think I like Marnieing them here. That feels pretty ideal to me. They have the Switch in hand, as well as a research. So they're probably gonna hit Alter Creation next turn. So I think I like Marnieing them here. Probably gonna bench the Oricorio. No reason not to, because they can boss up our Mawile, KO it now, and then they can boss up our Zacian, KO to win the game. So no reason not to bench the Oricorio here, in my opinion at least. There is an Energy Switch, another Metal Saucer. Unfortunately, this is a yikes. I want the DAA change, but I don't think we can afford losing the Energy Switch and another Metal Saucer. So I think I'm just gonna opt to go for the ADP here. Probably just commit the metal to it. Probably Vitality Band to it. I think that's a fine decision to make. I'm just going to Intrepid Sword here, and there we have access to Alter Creation next turn, which is definitely what we want. I might have thrown the game by benching these 2. There's the research from our opponent. They'll probably hit it here. They get rid of a Dedenne, which is probably correct on their end. There's the switch from our opponent. They're gonna hit the Alter Creation here. There's the Zamazenta from our opponent. I probably should have grabbed another Zacian with this. Yeah, probably a mistake on my part to grab the Mawile. And now we're sitting in a really rough spot. So go for the Energy Spinner here. Grab a Water Energy. And I think I want to boss up something to hopefully stymie our opponent from pulling off the turn 2 Ultimate Ray. I think that's probably the most optimal play to make. Bossing up the Dedenne doesn't feel good at all, but I don't know if it really makes a difference because our opponent still has to attach to it, retreat it, or get an Air Balloon or a Switch, whereas if we boss the position, they would also need the exact same thing. So I honestly think bossing the Dedenne is the stronger play here to make, because they still have to attach to it to retreat, and then if they do attach to it, they need to find a Saucer Energy Switch. So I think bossing the Dedenne here is just fine. And I'm just gonna go for the Alter Creation here, and yeah, go from there. Unfortunately, we have these 2 bench dudes on the bench, which is probably a little game throwing. Again, not optimal at all. Yeah, probably a misplay on my part. I shouldn't have benched that much. 2 prizers, and now our opponent. There's the Pokemon Catcher. Flips Tails, which is good for us. There's the Metal Saucer. Let's see if our opponent has a way to retreat. If they don't, it would be very good. There's the DAA change from our opponent. However, they will probably get Switch Boss here. I would imagine so. There's the switch into the ADP. There's the boss on our Oricorio, and now we're sitting in the dumps. If our opponent has access to another boss, they do win the game here. Yeah, I shouldn't have benched the Oricorio. Or the Mawile. I should have just went for another Zacian, and yeah, this is just me getting punished for my misplays. But nonetheless, here we can still try to win the game by bossing up 2 Dedennes ourselves. Just a little unfortunate we didn't get to go first here, and a little unfortunate that I misplayed. So let's see what we top deck. A Marnie is we can't Marnie them though because we don't play Great Catcher. We cannot KO this ADP this turn. We just have to hope that our opponent does not have access to boss's orders this turn, and I hope that their catchers hit tails. So I'm just gonna boss up the Dedenne-GX this turn and punch it with Ultimate Ray and hopefully draw into a way to access boss out of our prize cards. I'm just gonna grab 3 metal out of the deck here, put them on the Zacian V, and hope that our opponent does not have game in hand. If they do have a boss, it is what it is. We tried our best, misplayed a little, but in the very end, they pulled off the Alter Creation first. We tried our best. There's the Eldegoss. If they don't have game, we have game. So let's see what our opponent top decks here. Let's see if they have the boss. There's an Ordinary Rod. That's a card you don't see every day in ADPZ. This means they can DAA change again, probably hit another boss. There's the attachment. There's the Mawile. Oh no, they can bench our Eldegoss V. That's so bad for us. Now, now we can't even really win the game next turn. I guess they'll have to swing with Ultimate Ray. There's the boss from our opponent onto our Zacian V. And yeah, that's going to do it for the games with ADPZ Cat. We didn't really get to show off the power of the cat, which is really unfortunate. But I promise you, if you do get it set up, it's extremely powerful. And learn from my misplays. Don't bench a bunch of 2-prizers in the ADPZ mirror. That's going to do it for the games on ADPZ. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, remember to stay safe and have a good day. And peace out.